statistics reveal that South Africa receives a high number of applications. In fact, in 2009, it received 222,000 applications, which was the highest number received by any country in the world. Now, with that comes the issue of whether refugees do burden the local economy. With me in the studio is a refugee community member and a South African community leader, and they are going to shed light on how the two communities coexist in the country. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Exodus. My name is Aleck Kuhudzai and I'll be your presenter on this show. The show focuses on the lives of refugees and asylum seekers in the Western Cape area and highlights the challenges that they face on a day-to-day life. It will also expose them and try its best to have them addressed. The topic of today is the insight into the life of an Ethiopian refugee, getting a perspective also from a South African community leader. And joined with me in the studio, I've got Misrak Liban from Ethiopia and Pastor Mbuli from Kailicha. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Misrak. Who is Misrak? Can you just tell the viewers in brief who Misrak is?
Well, Misrak is a young lady from Ethiopia who's been a refugee here for over 12 years.
Okay. Okay. And Pastor?
I am Pastor Rich Mbuli. Originally, I'm from KwaZulu-Natal, but I have been in Western Cape, Cape Town, for almost 30 years now. I'm staying in Kailicha, C-section.
Okay. And you are the pastor of a church?
Yes, I am from Assemblies of God, but I am also serving in Great Commission Network Association, pastors who are dealing with the day-to-day programs in the Western Cape.
Okay. Okay. Misrak, so you've been in the country for 12 years.
Yes, I
What
have.
What led you to flee Ethiopia?
My family had a political problem.
Okay.
My dad was one of the political members there, and there was problems, of course, and we had to leave the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you journeyed and you came to South Africa?
Yes, I did.
And then you submitted an application. How difficult was it to submit an application for asylum?
Actually, for me, it wasn't that difficult because it only took 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it was a bit quick.
So in 4 days, your claim had already been adjudicated and you had already received your status?
Yes, I did.
Wonderful stuff.
Yes.
Now, Pastor,
Yes.
I'm interested in your community and foreign nationals.
Yes.
What are the various foreign nationals that you have in the community that you come, like noting or taking into account that Kailicha is the biggest township in the Western Cape?
Yeah, predominantly Somalians with shops there. And also we do have our brothers also from Zimbabweans who are also having some car cutting shops, like shoe making, you see, but predominantly are Somalians who are conducting the shops there in Kailicha.
Okay, so you've got Somalians, you've got Zimbabweans. Do you know if you've got Burundians, Ethiopians?
They are Burundians, you see, because some of them, they are also serving in our structures as pastors network and in our stakeholders in the community.
Okay. Now, how do you live with these foreign nationals in your community? How is the relationship like?
I think it's best now.
Is it?
Yeah, previously it was a little bit hard, you see, because even the language communication was a little bit strange. But now it's wonderful now because we now infiltrated them to stakeholders, like we have a joint cluster for crime prevention for Kailicha. They are part of us. We are also in the fraternals. They are also working together, even in schools. You see, we have after school, weekend and holiday programs. They are part. Even the children are part of us now. I think Cape Town, we have done a good work, more especially in Kailicha.
Okay. So to put it nicely, we could easily say that Khayelitsha is a rainbow township.
I can say out of 10, it might be 11 out of 10, you see,
Okay.
because really we are doing wonders for Khayelitsha.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Rak, I'm interested in your document, right? The document, the Section 24, the refugee permit, carries with it certain rights and obligations. Now, when that document was issued to you, were you informed of those rights? Do you know any of those rights that you enjoy by virtue of that document that you possess?
Actually, we are not informed about the rights that
Okay.
is there on it, but as time goes by, maybe you go to attend a hospital or you try to get a school for your kid, then is when you come to learn about it.
Okay.
But at the Home Affairs, they don't really inform you of it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, which ones are the most basic rights that you've come to learn of? Like,
Basic right is that you've got a right to go to a hospital and get a free medication.
okay, so healthcare. Yeah.
Health care, definitely, and education.
Okay.
But you also have to explain, of course, there is some things that you have to follow accordingly so that you can get that free
Yes.
education.
It's not just the fact that you're
No.
entitled to education. You have to
No.
comply with certain requirements.
Definitely.
Okay, and now do you think that your community understands that part?
No, not as well as, I can say maybe 30% do understand, but the 70, no, they don't.
Because I think it's one of the challenges that we're having, that
Big.
people do not know how to access the right. The right is there, but it's not absolute because you have to comply with certain requirements for you to enjoy that right.
Definitely, they have no idea about those rights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, which ones would you say are the most difficult to enjoy as a community member of Ethiopia? Or are there any difficult ones? Would you say there are any rights that you are not enjoying?
Yes, like when you're jobless, if you don't have any earnings, that means if you're a South African, there is somehow the government will provide something. But as a refugee, you don't get those rights.
Okay.
No, there
Okay.
isn't.
Okay.
If you cannot afford it, then maybe either it's your community helps you or you're out on the street. So I think that, I would say, is the most.
Okay. Pastor, your community, I know you coexist with them, but do you think your community members know and understand the difference between a refugee and an economic migrant?
Exactly. Because recently we had a wonderful workshop. It was also conducted by your team. I think that workshop, it's the one that was well attended by the leaders and the community. It's when we, even myself, also knew about some other challenges that were hidden, you see. But by now, everybody is on palm now. We understand each other. We do have some challenges somewhere, somehow, but we manage it to correct whatever things that erupt from the crowd.
Okay. Now, it's actually a very good point that you raised the issue of challenge. Before we even talk about refugees and asylum seekers that we live with, what are the most common or the challenges that they face on a day-to-day life?
It's crime.
Okay.
It's crime all the way. It's crime.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, because you see, most of the people in Khayelitsha in particular are not working.
Okay.
So crime all the way. Even the shop people who are shop owners, they also raise the issue of crime.
Okay.
Yes.
I actually loved that because you also raised the issue of unemployment. Yes. So then we could also say that it is another challenge.
Yes.
That you've got crime, then it's also driven by the fact that you've got people that are unemployed.
Yes.
Now, do you think that there is a sense in your community, would you say that they somehow believe that the crime is related to the number of foreign nationals in your community?
No, that one is zero. That one is zero, you see, because most of them, as I said in the beginning, that these are shop owners. And
Yes.
they also, what I like about them, even if you are running short of a 50 cent, they will say, my friend, I know you will pay tomorrow. So
Okay.
our working relation is very good.
Okay.
It's not. The crime is purely because of a large of number which are unemployed.
Okay, so I actually love that. I'm enjoying this conversation because you're actually bringing out the fact that the foreign nationals that are in your community are actually giving back to the community because they are actually running legal businesses. Is that what I'm getting from you?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Because we have a structure there in Khayelitsha, is the Khayelitsha Development Forum. Some
Okay,
of them, they
KDF.
serve in that structure. You see, we didn't have any challenge of illegal trading or whatsoever there. Everything, it's going smoothly as far as I know in Khayelitsha.
Now, Misra, quickly, do you know of any Ethiopians that stay in Khayelitsha?
Yes, there are a lot of them.
Is it? And
Yes.
what are the pressing challenges that they've ever raised, or are there any challenges that you think they face?
Yes, they have. Most of them do complain about robberies,
Okay.
even while they're driving, while they're at the shop. Safety is
Okay.
the biggest issue.
Okay, so it's an underlying factor. It's affecting both parties, foreign nationals and South Africans alike, the
Definitely.
issue of crime. Are they bringing up any other challenges apart from that one?
No, that is the most.
Is it?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you to briefly, because I need you to take me back into this one. You were sharing with me off the record that you lived in Khayelitsha.
Yes.
I'm interested to know how your life in Khayelitsha was. And then, Pastor, I'm going to also, I would like you, after we come back from the break, I would like you to quickly touch on how you handled the conflict, if there ever arise any conflict between refugees and asylum seekers in your community. Okay. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Hey, you! Yes, you with the hey! You want superpowers, do you? At DSTV's School of Cool, we can't teach you to fly or lift a sumo wrestler with your pinky, but we can boost your brain power with DSTV's curriculum of super cool shows. Shows filled with incredible lessons, facts, and backstories to get you talking, thinking, learning, and loving this incredible world of ours. Trust us, you're gonna be like totally brain powered up. At DSTV's School of Cool, it's not just school, it's cool.
Welcome back. Before we went for the break, we were actually discussing the issue of crime, and it was highlighted that it is actually a common problem between the foreign nationals and South Africans alike. Now, I remember I posed a question to Misrak. Tell me about your time when you were staying in Khayelitsha. How long did you stay in Khayelitsha and how was it?
I stayed for about 6 months
Okay.
because I was jobless. I didn't have a place to stay, and a South African family took me in.
Okay.
And they actually gave me my own shack,
Okay.
which was lovely. It was
Okay.
pink in color.
Okay.
And I lived with them, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't know. I didn't know how to wash myself with a towel. I didn't know how to make pap.
Okay.
And I did learn all that. And they're still my family, although I moved from there.
Okay.
I see them as my family, and they see me as their sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were taken in by a South African family.
Definitely.
I'm interested in knowing how you actually got connected to this family.
The school my daughter was going to,
Okay.
there was a guy, his name was Jackson.
Okay.
He was a security. So whenever I'm in and out to pick my daughter, I used to maybe give him for tea or lunch money.
Okay.
And that's how I got to know him.
Okay.
So when I had a problem, I talk to people generally. And he offered and said that my mom has a place. If you want, you can, come stay with us.
Okay.
And believe me, I did.
That's
and it was a wonderful
I'm
experience.
like, I think this is a very good story for the viewers out there.
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
conflict resolution. Now, do you have structures in place? Because I think one of the tensions actually comes from one of the fact that it is alleged that there are no strong conflict resolution mechanisms. Can you explain what structures you have in your community?
We have a Khayelitsha Development Forum, which is comprises with NGOs, faith-based organizations, and then civic organizations and radio stations there, and churches and also chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, in one structure. It's called Khayelitsha Development Forums.
Yes.
Yes.
And then how does it operate? How do you handle an issue? For example, if I'm a South African businessman and then I'm unhappy with the prices that are being charged by my fellow who's Somalian. How do you handle that issue and make sure that it does not get to a point where that shop is destroyed because he's providing strong competition?
No. We see what is happening there. We have Khayelitsha Business Forum,
yes,
which are dealing with the business sector,
okay,
and also we have Khayelitsha Education Forum,
okay,
which are dealing with the challenges in education.
Okay,
and
so
we also have Khayelitsha dealing. Khayelitsha, I think, is Khayelitsha, the one who's dealing with the housing.
Okay.
So we meet.
Okay.
They meet differently Wednesdays, differently, and then every Sunday we meet all of us,
okay,
with the challenges on each and every structure. Then
okay,
we as executive, we sit down and then iron out all those challenges.
So if I understand you correctly, you have the umbrella body, which is the Khayelitsha Development Program.
Yes,
but
yes,
then in that mother body, then you've got other branches
exactly,
that deal with specific issues.
Yes,
massive
yes,
stuff.
yes, yes.
Massive. And you meet how often?
So the groups meets every Wednesdays,
okay,
and then all of us Sundays, from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes, and then
okay,
after that they go to church, different churches, people. Every Sunday we meet.
Okay. For the sake of curiosity, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yes.
I'd like you maybe to, especially with the business forum,
yes,
just maybe share with us, obviously without names, one of the pressing cases that you had to deal with and how it was resolved.
Yes, you see, there was 2 or 3 issues where the kids where they stole in one of the shops there, okay, and then there was, you see, because the owner responded very harshly, and then but because I also said that we do have good structures in the community, street committees, they handle that matter very, very, very good, you see, because they inform us, and then we came in. And the second one was also the robbery, okay, where they robbed them gun pointed. It was, I think it was in Makaza, okay, and then the shop owner shot back, okay, where the one of the robberies died. Okay. Then it was a little bit a problem there, and then but we also, with the help of the police, we intervened, and then we normalized the situation. Okay. Yes, it was, okay, only those few incidents, okay, but there is no other one which was over our control.
Okay.
No.
Okay, Ms. Rak,
yes,
do you know of any Ethiopian community members who are living in other areas? Because apparently Khayelitsha has got an excellent model that we think should actually be adopted in other communities. But I want to hear from you, if you hear maybe if you know of anyone who's maybe staying in Delft, Guguletu, and whether they're experiencing any challenges.
I travel a lot, okay, all over Western Cape.
Okay.
So I meet a lot of Ethiopians, and they're everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
There is no particular place I will say that they're, okay, specifically here. Delft, definitely. Guguletu. Mention any names and they're there. And all of them do go through the same issues that is happening in Khayelitsha. Okay. But the community members nowadays are more helpful, okay, to the foreigners, I can say, okay, or not just Ethiopians. Okay. So they feel safer now than before.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your employment, I would like to know from you, how are you surviving in South Africa?
Through the grace, I can say. Okay. Yeah.
Are you employed?
I cannot say I am employed, but I am a freelance interpreter.
Okay.
Casual interpreter in court.
Okay.
So basically, as long as I work, I have money. Okay. If I get job, of course. Okay. Otherwise, I survive.
Okay. So we are actually speaking to a foreign national who's actually working for the Ministry of Justice.
Yes, you can say that.
Isn't this wonderful?
That's great.
Now, Pastor, yes, you know, there's one thing that really touches me. There were those attacks that took place in KZN in the beginning of the year, right? And now, you know, there was a concern that those attacks would spread, yes, right? And I'm not crying for them to spread, of course, but yes, I am interested in the viewers knowing why those attacks never came to Khayelitsha.
Yeah, you see, we were a little bit worried also, you see, because when initially that attacks in KZN started, it was so robust, so we were really a bit afraid. But through the structures, we make sure that we meet normally, and then also we have also our own people who are walking the streets there to air whatever things, you see, because we were also suspecting the third force in this thing, but through the grace of God, we had never even a single one in the Western Cape, particularly in Khayelitsha, where I stay.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I know there were no attacks, but was there at any point, did you ever get to move people to certain places of safety fearing that the attacks were going to reach Khayelitsha, or it never happened?
Never.
So it was business as normal?
It was just business as normally. We heard some rumors here and there, but we didn't involve ourselves there because we know our people.
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Rak, what do you think needs to change in South Africa, especially pertaining to the lives of refugees and asylum seekers? Now, we're not only talking about the communities, we're talking about the legal structures, we're talking about the access to services. What do you think needs to change?
A lot.
Okay.
One, I can say about the Home Affairs system. I know there is a new legislation that they brought out that when someone enters into the border, they should be given some kind of paper, so that they can go into whatever city they go to, and they can go to the Home Affairs.
Yes.
But it seems like most foreigners don't get those papers, or I don't know how it happens. I've been here too long, I think. So, but the services at the Home Affairs is, for me, I would say, thank God, I've never had any problem. But the stories that I hear are horrible. Some of them have to pay for it, even to get something which is their right to. Those issues have to be looked into. And also at court where I work, a lot of times when a foreigner is arrested, the statements that they give, they give in English, but the English understanding is so limited that in later time or in court, then it becomes an issue. So those things, and hospitals also, language barriers is there, big time. So those things should be looked at.
Pastor.
Yes.
What would be your message to other South African communities and townships? Because definitely there's no doubt that this model that you have is excellent. What would you say to the other communities that are watching this show?
I want just to say to everybody who's here in South Africa that we are brothers and sisters here. I want also to send the message to the one in KwaZulu-Natal where I was born and bred, to say that thing, it must be the history. It mustn't happen again, you see. But I'm happy because I was part of the resolutions in KZN where it was a big problem. So I would say to them, they must really stop this thing and come together and work together to build this country. Yes.
Ms. Rak, what's your closing statement in like 15 seconds to the people of South Africa and to the Ethiopian refugees?
To my own community or to my own Ethiopians, I would say, let's give back to the people what they have given us. They have welcomed us. Let us also welcome them. And we should care for each other. We are all, after all, Africans.
Now, there you have it. I think one of the most interesting episodes in that we've had two opposites with a foreign national and a South African national. Now, the funny part about it is she actually received accommodation from a South African family. And I think it is something that we should learn out there, that coexistence can actually take place. We thank you for staying tuned, and we trust that you continue respecting and promoting the rights of refugees and asylum seekers. Guys, thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you for having us.